So guys, can you see my screen? Okay,
Yes, yes. Can see your
so
screen.
Yes,
where
can
we
see your
stopped,
screen.
we were talking about the tools that we wanted to use today. So we're having some of these selection tools here that I wanted us to tap on today. Because this first one here, it's just a selection tool. So the ones which are minor, which are just handy, that helps us in our creative work, those ones we shall not tap on them. But the ones that are a bit complex and logical are the ones that we are going to work on, you see? Because there are simple ones, like now the crop tool, that is very basic. Just know it has to crop. But let's move on. Let me download an image. So I want to download an image that we can use as a sample today. So I would say picture of a flower. Okay. So we have a sample here. Let me grab this simple one here. Okay, so I will just copy an image, come and paste it on our screen here. So since it's big, let me try to make it smaller. So here, what you do, you can go to the edit. You can simply transform this image from this side. Let us go here, image size. So here we shall reduce the pixels, and it will reduce the size of our work, but it will also reduce the screen. So what I suggest, you see, that's what it will do. So what I suggest, we can get a shortcut of Control T, and it will give us control panels that we can use to drag and make our image smaller and smaller. So we can call it also scaling the image to become big or small. So if you can see what we are doing, we are making it smaller. Okay. Then let us get this magic tool. So this will select the even colors. Like, let me say this background here, the color is even. So that means the software will sense that it's having almost the same pixels. So the background is white. Unlike if the background was having many colors, that means that point that you select is the only one that will be captured. So for example, if I zoom here, let me zoom into the plant. So for the plant here, it has a lot of contrasting colors. So the dark, the purple, a bit of reddish. So that means it won't be able to select it, or it will select only that part. Like, let me say it will get the dark areas and then the light areas also. So if the pixels are all even, all the colors are also all the same, this magic tool will just capture everything. Just the way you see it's selecting all this gray part here. So once it selects that, you can come back to your selection tool here, and that will help you remove your background. Okay, let me minimize this here. So we can come back to our layer here of the flower. So here we can simply click backspace to remove the white background. So that's one of the use of the magic wand tool. And then we have another quick selection tool. So the quick selection tool also selects the same pixels, but it does that randomly. So that means you have to drag to use this tool. You see the cursor, the way I'm using it. So here, you don't click and it will sense all the pixels, but you have to drag for it to capture also the same pixels that you're trying to get. So if you want to remove this background here, you have to drag around the area that you want. So it will keep sensing it, just the way you're seeing here. It will keep sensing it until it reaches the part that you want. But now, in a situation where it captures the detail that you don't want, you can Alt to make it negative, and then you drag again on that part that the pictures that you don't want, or the details that you don't want. So you can do it roughly. See, it doesn't have to be precise. So it just helps you to fasten your work. So you can drag that and clear the background easily. Okay, then we have also another selection tool. This is a lasso tool. This is also a selection, but this you click and long press and you drag around the image or the detail that you want. But here you're doing it also roughly. For example, I want the top of this flower only. So I will drag around it like that. And I will capture the part that I want, just rough work. Okay. Then if I want to make a copy, I can Control C is to make a copy. And then Control V is for pasting. But for a layer, you can also click on Control J. So guys, I hope we are noting down some of this to fasten our work. So we can just click on Control J and it will make a copy of our work. It's right now on the same layer. So you see as if it has not changed. So if you drag it aside a bit, you can see that it had made the copy, but roughly. So that means you have more work to do. So to edit some of these things, let it be an image when you're retouching. It takes time because you first think of what you're going to do. You have to first look at what you're working on, have an objective, have a target, know the outlook at the back of your mind, and then you start working on it. What else are we going for? So these are the selections we're going to be using mostly. This one, the square here, and the rectangular and the circular. These ones here, they're standard. So that means here you're going to capture something rectangular, a rectangular selection, you see? So you make the selection on the area that you want, and then you can make a copy out of it, and then you manipulate it the way you want, okay? So let me get rid of that. Same thing to the Eclipse selection tool. So here it will give you a circular selection. These ones are standard. You see, so we have our lasso tool here. The polygon also, we won't use it much because it gives you points of selection when you're making your selection. So for example, you have to click a point and it will, how should I say, it works like a polygon, you see? So you click and make a stamp point wherever you go until your selection is done. So that we are not going to use it that much because it's going to confuse people for no reason. So once you're done using it or surrounding the point that you want, you just double click and it goes off. Magic Lasso, this acts like a magnet selection. So you long press on it and then it will create for you points. It also does this roughly. Once you reach the point you want, it will automatically select that area. So this is about the selections. The cropping tool here just helps you to crop your work. So you double click there and then you crop. Hold the points and drag. Once you're done, you can enter or click the arrow up there that shows that you're done. Okay, so this is about the selection, crop, we are done. What else are we going to use? So let us go to the patch tool. So for the patch tool, we have to get another image. Let us download another image. So here I want us to pick a model. Most of their faces have been edited. Let me say model with a rough face. Let's see what they give me. Nope. Let me look for this man here. So I can download that image, goes to downloads, and then we come to our software. You come to file, open, then we look for our image. We go to downloads, enter the folder, we come, we find our images here. We can double click or click on the image and open, click on open. So let me just double click. So to open something new, this is a man here with a rough face. So this is what our patch tool does. So just the way you hear patch tool, it's for patching. So we come and click this rough part. Everyone, let's click on that tool. If you're also following with an example there, you can long press on the part that you want and you move to the clean part. So it is simply for patchwork. So we want to clean a certain area. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can see what we're doing. So this is what our patch tool does. We come on the wrong part and we select the good part and that disappears. So we are patching with a clean spot. So I don't want us to take so long on it. We shall do more practice there. Let us move next to the content awareness tool. Just a second. So the content awareness tools, once you select the area that you want to correct, it also helps with cleaning the part. So it's also a bit complex because you have to, in fact, the software is the one that senses the other clean part that has to be put there. So sometimes it does not give you the quality work that you want. Though in depth there, once you learn how to use it more, we shall also tap on it and then you get to know more about it. But mostly we use the patch tool and the clone stamp tool. So just the way you hear cloning, we are cloning a clean part and bring it on the bad part. So we make a clone of a clean area. Let me increase it a bit. Increase the size. So to increase the size, you have to come to this. Where is our workflow tool? Sorry. Okay, let me increase the size from up here, from our side of the property. So it has increased a bit. Now here you have to Alt click the clean area and come and stamp it on the dirty area or the part that you want to clean. So just the way you hear clone stamp tool, you clone the area that you want and you come and stamp it on the part that you want to cover. So you can see that's what we are doing. Click on Alt, come and click on Alt, come and click. So for the clone stamp tool, it has also settings. You have to come and set the opacity and how strong it will be working. So if you come up here on the properties, you'll find the opacity is reduced to 50. So that when you're stamping an area, it gives you also chance to test. So that if it's on 100, you will click once and it just transfers all the details at once. So let us see how it will work. So let us set the opacity to 100, the workflow to 100, and then we come and click our dirty area here. So if we click this and stamp it here, it will transfer it straight away, if you can see. So click on this area. If we bring it on the eye here, click once, and it transfers the details right away. You see, which is wrong. When we are retouching, we have to reduce the strength a bit, so that is not so strong, because sometimes you don't want that part to be overseen. You see, so you have to reduce the opacity, workflow, and it will ease in your work. Okay, so what else are we looking at today? Is the pen tool. So the pen tool, just the way you hear a pen, it will help us to draw outlines of the detail that we want, of the objects that we want, of the face that we want, maybe when we are retouching, of the area that we want, etc. So you come and click on your pen tool. So our pen tool here, we want to cut out this face with our pen tool. We want to cut out the face with our tool. So when we are done, it will also make a selection, but it's also going to be one of the most used tools. Okay, so let me do something rough. Go off, okay. Now we want the shape of this face, the whole of it, from the sides here, the hair, until we are done, and then we cut out our face. So for the pen tool, you have to click a point. You click a point and then you drag to the part that you want. So if I make my first point out here, I move to a shorter area because this tool helps you make curves also. So you click and long press, and then you can move your mouse freely. If you can play around with it there after the lesson. So this is the first point. I've clicked that area, and then I can make a curve to shape that part that I want. So when we are done, we can move on to the next. You click again, it will sense the curve that you made, and then it will create another as you click on the points. So if you reach on the part that is curved, just go ahead and click to a shorter distance up front, and it will allow you to make a curve. So after making a curve, the tool also senses that you're trying to make a curve, and you see what it is doing. It is stuck there. So I don't want it to get stuck there. That point that is a breaking point, we can alt click there. That means we are telling the tool that we want to start a new shape. So you continue clicking. So here, let me go rough. We click on the hair, make a curve. Let me go a wider distance, click there, make a curve. So the tool is sensing that there is a curve. You continue with that. We move on, click again, click, come to the ear, the small bends there, click and make a simple curve. Then we have another curve here. Click past it, the tool will sense, and long press and make sure you can play around with the curve. Not so hard, but just make sure you feel free. So you see it has made a clean curve on the ear there. Reach out to the breakpoint, alt click, move on to the next. We want to complete the shape from this hair here, move past it. And then make our curve. Reach out to our breakpoint. Make another curve. We just proceed with that until we are done. So we have to join with the area that we started with. So when we are done, we can Control Enter, and then it makes a selection of the shape that we want. So I told you earlier, to make a copy, you can Control J, or you can Control C, that is Control Copy, and Control V is to paste. We shall learn the shortcuts also at the end to make our work so easy. So here, let us Control J. It will make a layer. Come back to my selection. So here, for us to know that we have cut out the layer, here you can see it on the side, but it's not visible. So here you can come and move it, and you will see what we have cut out. You can see. So we might be putting it on a plain background and a different background, or whatever your aim is. You see? So the pen tool is a very important tool. So you need to practice so much on it also, because we are going to be using it on a scale. We are going to use it about 80 or 90% even, because most of the work you have to cut out and change the backgrounds and the selection tools. You have to select the areas, put them on a different background, or play around with them. You see? So I think we have consumed too much time. Let us stop there today. We have learned a few things, but because we got delayed so much today, So tomorrow, I think we shall cover more. Okay, so let's come back to my screen again. Questions. Let us start taking questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Like I would like to have a quick recap of all the things we covered today so that I can do further research on my own because I missed the first part of the lesson. So a quick recap will like help me do more research on my own before I get to the next class tomorrow.
Okay. So I could create a PDF of that, or you want the physical practical part of it here?
It must not be physical practical. I just want you like you can just say the steps what we did today and that's all. I'll try to look into it on my own.
All the steps of the tools we have used today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I see today we were a bit disorganized, so everyone lost track.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the tools that we tapped on today were the selection tools. So from the first one that we began with, we have the ellipse and rectangular tool. So that one, it's a standard tool. It will help you select rectangularly, and for the ellipse tool or eclipse tool or circular tool, if you click on the tiny drop down there, it gives you the circular tool. This one is also standard, helps you to make a circular selection. Now we move to the next tools here. We had the lasso tool. So the lasso tool here helps you to make a free selection, but very irregular. So here you click on it with your mouse, you long press, and then you move around with it the way you want. You can play around with it and make a rough selection. So it's for making a rough selection. And then we have the next tool. We had the polygon tool. The polygon tool, for it is also strict. It makes points when you're clicking a selection. So for it is not free. You click a point and it keeps it as a straight line, just the way here, a polygon. It's a rigged tool. So you click and make a rough selection, but in a straight format. So here it gives us lines only. So we go and play with those lines until we get the selection that we want. So once you reach the point, you double click and then you're done. So next we have the magnet tool here. So here it's a selection tool that works like a magnet. So here you click and it will auto sense the part that you want to select, but it will be rough. You see what I'm doing? So you long press and just drag along that line. So it will sense that there's a curve like a magnet. That's why it's called a magnet tool. So you go around, if it doesn't select it, it will be rough. Okay, and then you come to the point and it will make the selection just the way the magnet tool works. Which other? It is the object selection tool. So here you drag the area that you want so that it can select even pixels. Now this background is having the same color, so the pixels are even. So that means you can easily drag and it will sense that whole area. So I think you see, you drag only that area and it will sense it. So if I come to this other part here also, the colors are almost the same pixels. So you long press, drag. So it will sense it. Next part here, you drag. You drag and it will select it. So if at all it goes to a path that you don't want. Like, let me say it has entered this in the face here. You have to alt click to turn the positive part to negative. So you click on that part and drag it off so that it does not enter the details that you want. So that one is the object selection tool. Helps you select the object or the background easily, because for it senses the pixels. And then we have the magic wand tool here. So the magic wand tool or the magic selection tool, it also does almost the same thing of sensing the same pixels, same colors. But here you just click once. There's no need for it to drag. It acts like a magic tool. So you click, it senses right away. Now, if the selection of that part has the same pixels with the object that you want, it will enter into it. But for the selections, just know that you're making a rough selection of the objects. Unless you want to make something precise, you have to use the pen tool. Is what will give you a precise shape. But for the rest, for quick selections, quick work, quick rough selections. Then after that, we move to the cropping tool. You come to the points, drag to the path that you want or to the path that you want to crop off. And then you click the tick up here to show that you're done, or you enter to show that you're also done. Then from the selections, we have the patch tool. The patch tool is, it helps us patch the wrong parts that we want and make them clean. Or it helps you patch the details that you want. Maybe it will not be necessarily on a face, it will be on a different object also. So it helps you patch that part. You remove a clean part and add a good part. You see, so on the face here, there is maybe this pimple here or this dirty part. We can click it. We have made the rough selection, which is like a patch, and then you drag it to a clean area. Then the software will auto sense it. That's for the patch. Content awareness tool, there's no need to tap into it right now. Then let's move to the clone selection. Clone selection, you have to click on Alt. You have to click on the Alt tool in order for it to pick the detail that you want. And then you stamp it to the part that you want. So as you're stamping, there is a plus that you can see there. So it shows us that we are picking from that area that's a plus, and then we are stamping it to that area where there's a circle. So you have to stamp it multiple times to get the effective use that you want. But also I explained that up here, we can manipulate its activity a bit, plus what the power, you see? So the opacity, we can play around with it. We can increase it to 100 and also the workflow to 100. That means it's going to be very sensitive. So you have to click dirty part and stamp it here. That means it will be very active. It will be very sensitive too. So that's a clone stamp tool. And then for precision selections or for cutting an object, we use the pen tool. So the final bit was a pen tool. So a pen tool, you have to click around the object until you make the final selection that you want. Until you're done, then you Control Enter, and then you can Control J to make a copy. Are we good, Clovis?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm good. Thank you so much, sir. It's noted. Thank you so much.
I have a
Anyone
question.
else? Yes.
I have a question. Is it
Yes.
not possible to use the tool after the stamp tool to just wipe out all these marks on this person's face? The next
Which
tool, the tool after. Yes, this one. Like to just wipe off. Yeah.
this one here?
Yes, this erase tool cannot just erase everything.
So
No,
erase tool.
not
Is this what
erase,
you're
the one
talking about?
before erase. Sorry. Yes,
This one
this
here?
brush.
Okay. So this is a history brush tool. It restores parts of an image to an earlier state. So just the
Oh,
way you
okay.
hear history brush
Oh,
tool,
history brush.
it is restoring the history. Let us just use the logic. English words, these things shouldn't confuse you. Just the way I was explaining, clone logically, if you go to Google, what is cloning? To make a copy of something. What is selecting? Here with the tools, you're making a selection of an object. Erase, you're erasing a part. So let us just have basic knowledge about these things. Keep on practicing so that it does not confuse you. And keep on playing around with them, and you come and ask questions. Okay. Who else has a question? Who else has a question? Okay. Let us give it 10 seconds. If you don't come out, you should forever hold your peace. And that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you had a good section. Sorry for the interruption that we had. Tomorrow we are going to have a further in-depth session. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a good night. It was
Thank
Louis
you
Massive.
very much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you
God
so
bless
much,
you.
sir.
Good night.
We didn't even ask if someone was still facing any difficulties with the software. I believe everybody is clear with that, sir.
Most of
Louis,
them
I think someone is
dropped
asking.
off. Most of them have dropped off. Who else has issues with the software? I think we have about 5 people here. I think most of them have installed it. So the rest who have not, they will be cornered in the
Louis,
practical section where they have to.
There's a question in the chat.
Okay, let me check. Okay, so let me hear what is the name of the software. It's Adobe Photoshop CC. So CC stands for Creative Cloud. You have to download that. There are other versions, of course, that are available, but I shared the links on the WhatsApp group. If your laptop or desktop system, there's a higher specs. The minimum specs that I shared was a Core i3, 4 GB RAM, 2.2 speed. You should have that at least to run the software. If it is lower than that, I shared also a portable version, which is just 105 MBs. You can install it and use it for learning purposes. And then the other, you can get it when you have a stronger machine. Does that clear the air? You can just chat there. Could you resend the link to download it? Yes, I will pin it on the group chat again. No worries. So you'll find the portable version. It will be highlighted there. You can also send me a chat and you show me your laptop specs. And I recommend which one you can download. Is that clear? Anyone else? Okay, I think there are no further questions.
Thank you for everything, sir. Thank you so much for your precious time. Have a great evening, sir.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.